Yeah, hi there, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the TOEFL IBT. And you took one of my integrated speaking practice tests. I think it's number 8. You read a reading passage, you listened to a lecture, and what I want to do now is to go over your particular response. Okay, so the article states that fast food restaurants contribute negatively to the health and diet of American citizens. And you want to say here provides, right? Because this verb is singular here. So then this one should also be singular. So it provides 3 reasons of support. How about this? What if you said 3 supporting reasons, and then you don't need to use the adjective, the prepositional phrase. Say, however, the lecture explains that the lack of consumer's responsibility causes the misconception of fast food restaurants and refutes each of the author's reasons. Exactly. So very good beginning here. It's very clear what the purpose is of the reading and also the lecture, and it's also clear that you're summarizing this information. You'll see first, the reading passage claims that fast food restaurant chains serve fast and cheap food, which you say is cause. I don't think so. You want to say which causes obesity. In the long term, I would probably change it to that. So, a few grammatical problems here. You see the lecture refutes this point by saying that obesity is caused by, I'm going to say here, an inactive lifestyle plus consuming more calories than, I'm going to say here, than is needed in a day. It states that, maybe comma, if you're sitting on a couch in front of a TV or playing video games, you will gain weight. Okay, now let's take a look at the reading passage for a minute. So you have that fast and cheap food. So the long-term effects of obesity are the result of the food. So this is what you're not saying. Why does it contribute to obesity? So they're saying that they eat it a lot, and because of their busy schedules, they're not able to eat healthier foods. So I'm going to say that you didn't exactly capture all of the main points from the reading. Maybe you went a little bit too quickly. If you notice here, this is how much information here you've devoted to the lecture, and this is how much information you devoted to the reading. You want to balance it a little bit more. So approximately half of your paragraph should deal with the information in the reading, and then half of your paragraph should deal with the information in the lecture. So you say second, the article explains that fast food, you want to say here, creates an unhealthy society. You have either two choices here, a society that is plagued. I'm going to change this to say this. You can probably say with, but I would use passive there, or get rid of that and is, and just say this. You could do it either way. Explains that fast food creates an unhealthy society plagued with high cholesterol, diabetes, and heart disease. The lecture refutes this. You see my point here again. You're spending a little bit more time, too much time on the lecture, not enough time on the reading, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because you're showing that you know all the information from the lecture, no doubt, right? But if you want to accurately compare and contrast, you should present a balanced a balanced presentation of the ideas, because if you don't, the reader may think you have a bias, which means the reader may think that you agree more with the information from the lecture than you do with the information from the reading. Why might we think that? Because that's where you spend most of your time writing, is discussing the lecture, which means maybe we think you like that more, but when you're summarizing, there shouldn't be a bias. It should be more of an accurate explanation of the main points from both sources. You see what I'm saying? So the lecture refutes this point by saying that recently if you put a comma here, you probably need to put one here too. That recently fast food restaurants have more alternatives. I'm going to just say alternative and options are kind of the same thing, right? So I'm going to say it's redundant. So fast food restaurants have more options in their menus, such as fruit and salad, besides the high calorie foods. Because you're using calories here as an adjective, you probably want to use it this way. It also claims that California and New York restaurants have written the calories of each item in their menu so people will be more informed. You see, third, the article states that fast food restaurants enhance gluttony. I'm going to say encourage is a better word here. I think the reading says promote. So you want to see here, the article states that fast food restaurants encourage gluttony. In contrast, the speaker refutes this point by saying that fast food restaurants, remember you have a plural verb there, so are part of society. Such as movie theaters do not necessarily promote gluttony. It claims that no one can overcome gluttony. No, it claims that one can overcome gluttony by not eating and drinking large amounts How about fatty foods and sodas, I'd probably say here, from fast food chains. Every day. So I would include, if possible, at least a brief conclusion that kind of ties up all your loose ends, so you kind of left that out. Okay, overall, let's take a look at how you will score on this particular essay. Okay, I think you will score higher than the 2 range. The question is, can you get into the 4 range? It says, finding your essay has more frequent and noticeable minor language errors, but these errors do not result in anything more than the occasional lapse of clarity or in connection. You may have minor omission, inaccuracy, vagueness, or incorrectness of some of the content from the lecture in connection to some of the points in the reading. I'm going to see you have more errors than this. Let's look at this one. I think you're in pretty good shape though, but you remember what I said about in terms of presenting, trying to balance out your presentation of the information from the reading and the lecture. So I still think you're in pretty good shape here. I'm going to say for TOEFL purposes, you're looking at about 3.5 out of 5. I think you'll probably score right now about 22 points out of 30. Now that assumes that you took only 20 minutes to write this response. Now, if you took longer than that, of course, we don't know exactly what your accurate score will be, but if you did take 20 minutes, then it would be around 22 points out of 30, right? Now, For the purposes of our class, 3.5 out of 5, this is going to put you at 82% out of 100. So I think mainly, as you saw, I did go over in pretty much every paragraph. I had to make different corrections. So you're having some problems with your subject-verb agreement. You might want to write that down. And then you can Google it or study it at my website. You're also having some problems with active versus passive voice. You might want to write that down. You can also improve your writing by being more concise. So you can write that down. You can actually study most of those things directly at my website. Alrighty, so again, 3.5 out of 5, 22 points out of 30, or 82 points out of 100 on this practice test.